Welcome to the Rector of Untitled and the Presidents of Monash University, Indonesia and team to Multimedia Room. While waiting for the event to proceed, let us enjoy a welcoming dance performed by UKM Pandawa Untitled. What a very nice performance, isn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, in the name of God, the most gracious and merciful, good morning, may peace be upon us. Thanks to God, the Almighty, because of the blessing and graces, we can be here today in three-parted MoU signing ceremony between Untitled, Monash University Indonesia, and Monash University Australia, and on a guest lecture on internationalizations of higher education initiated by Fatah Sulaiman International, Untitled. I would like to firstly welcome the Honorable Director of Universitas Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa, Professor Dr. Insinyur Haji Fatah Sulaiman, STMT, the respectable, the Vice Rector 2 of Untitled, Kurnia Nugraha, STMT, the Honorable, the Vice Rector 1, Untitled, Dr. Agus Syafari, MSc, and the respectable, the Vice Rector 4 of Untitled, Dr. Aceng Hassani, MPD. And the Honorable, the Presidents of Monash University Indonesia, Professor Andrew MacIntyre, and the Honorable, the Head of Global Engagement of Monash University Australia, Professor Abid Khan, and the respectable, the Head of International Office of Untitled, Udi Samanhudi, PhD. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like also greet all the invited guests of today, all those respectable deans of Untirta, the directors and the vice directors of postgraduate schools of Untirta, the heads of all the departments and secretaries of Untirta, the heads of UPET, representative of diaspora, the Honorable Director of Universitas Serang Raya, the Honorable Director of Universitas Bina Bangsa, the Honorable Director of Universitas Paletehan, the Honorable Rector of Universitas Banten Jaya, the Honorable Rector of Universitas Primagraha, and the Honorable Rector of Universitas Al-Khairiyah. Ladies and gentlemen, the perspective of internationalizations of higher educations is contextually diverse. To Untirta itself, the internationalizations of higher educations is oriented to upgrading its rank, to broadening and intensifying partnership and collaborations with internationally high-ranked universities such as Monash University. Prior to today's MoU signing ceremony, Pusat Layanan Internasional Untirta have initiated an introductory discussion between Center of Excellence of Food Security of Untirta and Center of Food Innovations and of Monash University Australia, which has proceeded to an agreement of potential collaborations of projects funded by the Ministry of Culture and Education of Untirta through Kedai Reka Matching Fund. Additionally, Untirta believes the presence of Monash University Indonesia in Serpong, Tangerang as Untirta partners will bring prospective progress to the development of Banten province. And today's agenda marks official partnership between Untirta, Monash University Indonesia, and Monash University Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, before proceeding to the main agenda, I would like to remind you the 5 protocols of COVID-19 preventions and the safety instructions of this room. Use soap and water for at least 20 seconds. If it isn't possible, you may use a hand sanitizer containing at least 16% alcohol, and to keep the safe distance, and also to wear your mask properly, to cover your mouth when you are sneezing and coughing, and regularly clean and disinfect your surroundings. And I would like to inform you also that the occupancy of this multimedia room is 50% of its total capacity, and all the audience in this room has been vaccinated. Ladies and gentlemen, to proceed to the main agenda, I would like to read out the order of agenda. First is opening, the national anthem of Indonesia and Australia, the opening speech from the Rector of Untirta, the speech from the head of global engagement, Monash University Australia, and 5th speech from the presidents of Monash University Indonesia, MoU signing, token presentations, photo sessions, and guest lecture sessions, and closing. Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem of Indonesia, you are kindly requested to stand. the national anthem of Australia.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are young and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is God by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair. Beneath the radiant Southern Cross, we'll toil with hearts and hands to make this Commonwealth of ours renowned above the lands. For those who come across the seas, we've boundless plains to share. With courage, let us all combine to advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the next agenda, opening speech from the Rector of Universitas Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa, the Professor Dr. Insinyur Haji Fatah Sulaiman STMT. Please proceed to the podium. Please, sir.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, salam sehat, salam sejahtera buat kita semua. Good morning everyone. The Excellencies, Rector of Monash University Indonesia, Professor Andrew MacIntyre, thank you very much for your coming. Welcome to Jawaraland, Provinsi Banten. The head of the Global Engagement Office of Monash University Australia, Professor Abid Khan, distinguished guests, all vice rectors of Universitas Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa, Vice Rector 1, 2, and 4, Head of Institute Research and Community Service LPPM, and Head of Institutes Development of Quality Assurance LP3M Untitled, Dean and Director of Postgraduate Untitled, Head of Internal Supervision Unit, and Head of International Office, and all academicians at Untitled that present here and online, as well as distinguished participants of this Zoom meeting. First and foremost, I would like to welcome the delegation of Monash University Indonesia to Universitas Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa. The respectable Rector of Monash University Indonesia, Professor McIntyre. Thank you. You look so handsome with your batik. Yeah. Thank you for accepting our invitation in our first meet through online meeting. And finally, we can meet in person today. I would also like to greet the head of the Global Engagement Office of Monash University Australia, Professor Abid Khan. Pleased to meet you and all the team of Monash University Australia and Monash University Indonesia listen today through online meeting. In this wonderful occasion, Untitled, your newly NECO, would like to congratulate for the establishment of Monash University Indonesia. Welcome to Indonesia. Welcome to Banten Province. Selamat datang di Provinsi Banten, Indonesia. Please join us as Jawara Banten. Mr. Professor Andrew. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Untitled, I would like to extend a great appreciation and gratitude for a memorandum of understanding. We are about to sign this memorandum of understanding signifies our mutual partnership to strengthen and develop education in Banten Province and Indonesia in general. We strongly believe that this MOU will open plenty of opportunities of collaboration among Untitled, Monash University Australia, and Monash University Indonesia. These three parties MOU signing is also in line to our vision and mission, that is to become integrated, smart, and green university that is excellent, having character and competitive in ASEAN by 2030. Therefore, our commitment to achieve the vision and mission is by broadening partnerships with well-established and reputable international universities like Monash University Australia and Monash University Indonesia. It is expected that Untitled can accelerate its improvement to be competitive not only in the ASEAN level by 2030, but beyond that, and at the same time, offering beneficial partnership its partners. Ladies and gentlemen, integrated, smart, and green university Untitled attempting to achieve is driven by the fact of massive worldwide disruption caused by technologies, climate change, and health pandemic COVID-19. As an academic institution, we need to prepare and assure the development of high quality of human resources. In doing so, Untitled has been shifting its core business to a fully integrated campus, centered on this campus Sindang Sari that are able to manage several campus sites. In the last few years, we are developing several digital applications to manage our university activities. We are turning into a digitalized university, and every building in this campus adopts a bus building automatization system. Moreover, in terms of green university, we structurally design building that has a green concept building. This building as one of the examples, not only building, but also culture. We encourage all academic members of Untitled to build and grow a mindset to realize green university, and by participating into UE Green Metric World Ranking. We show our commitment to green university. And since early this year, we focus in developing healthy campus ecosystem so that our academicians can yield their best potential. It is hoped that by working closely together with reputable university, Monash University, we can explore the collaboration in such topics, notably for academic activities, research, and public service. And soon, we can develop strategic and beneficiary long-term partnership, and as well as be a very good friend. To close my speech, I thank everyone involved in this process of MoU. It is not easy, I know, but with the same passion and commitment, we could make this happen today. It proves that all academicians at Untitled keep striving to excellence in their work despite some challenge they encounter. And finally, I would like for the quote, talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence with championship. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Pak Rector. The next speech is the speech from the head of Global Engagement Office, Monash University Australia, to Professor Abid Khan. The screen is yours.
Thank you very much. And my thanks to His Excellency for such a wonderful speech. We clearly share a lot of foundational principles, particularly around sustainability and ethical behavior. So Your Excellency, Professor Fatah Sulaiman, my dear colleague, Professor Andrew MacIntyre, the many distinguished guests that are in the room there, ladies and gentlemen, I speak with some heart. I would normally be in Indonesia 2 or 3 times a year and unfortunately can't be there. So please treat Andrew also as my colleague, but also our ambassador to the country, into the university system. We very much look forward to flights re-emerging and having that two-way movement between us starting up as soon as possible. I'm very honored to be together with all of you today to sign a memorandum of understanding between Monash University Indonesia, and Universitas Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa. The milestone really marks the beginning of many collaborations between our two universities, which I hope will span research, education, and community service that His Excellency spoke about. And it also marks many years for the relationship between Monash University and Indonesia. Australia and Indonesia are very close neighbours, with our two countries' relationship starting in 1949, when Australia recognised Indonesia's independence. The relationship is now becoming even stronger with the signing of the Indonesia-Australia Comprehensive Partnership Agreement, the IASEPA, where the two countries have committed to unlock the vast potential of bilateral economic partnership between us, including, importantly, the higher education sector. And indeed, for us, in the higher education institutions, we're given the opportunity to utilize this momentum and build on it by opening the door of deeper collaboration between universities in Indonesia and Australia to explore areas of mutual interest and mutual impact. If we flash back to the beginning of collaboration between Monash University and Indonesia, it starts back in the 1960s, very much at the beginning of Monash, when a number of scholars from Indonesia studied at Monash under the Colombo Plan. Monash's knowledge on Indonesia then became richer when one of our outstanding scholars, Herb Feith, led international research on Indonesia and wrote many papers about it at that time. And of course, his name continues in the institutes and bearing his name now. Since that time, I'm pleased to say many organic and strategic partnerships have happened between Monash University and Indonesia. Examples would include the World Mosquito Program, led by our Monash scholars in collaboration with Gadjah Mada University, the Revitalizing Informal Settlement and Environment Project in Makassar in collaboration with Universitas Hasanuddin, the latest Citarum River Revitalisation Project, and the Australian Indonesia Centre that many of you will be aware of, and of course many, many other organic collaborations that really cement the relationship between our nations. I'm pleased to hear that a number of initial activities have been built on within this context by both Monash University and Untitled. The research discussion between Monash's Faculty of Science and your own Centre of Excellence on Food Innovation and other collaborations among academics are the activities that we should keep pursuing. So we look forward to that growth. It's important to us for us to remember, however, that the mission of higher education institutions is to create impact. Both the research that we do and the education that we deliver should be able to bring impact to the larger communities in Indonesia, Australia, and globally. And of course, we'll work hand in hand in achieving that outcome. The signing of this memorandum of understanding is a timely response to the progressing bilateral relationship between Australia and Indonesia, and also the serious intention of Monash University to share and co-develop good impacts with Indonesia. My very best wishes to you all for a successful collaboration. Again, my thanks and respect to His Excellency, the Rector, and my thanks to you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Khan, for the speech. Now coming to the next agenda, the speech from the President of Monash University, Indonesia, Professor Andrew MacIntyre. Please proceed to the podium.
Rector, Dekan, Ketua Departemen, lembaga, juga apa saja, Bapak-bapak, my good friend and senior colleague, Vice President, a good friend and a close colleague here in Jakarta, very happy to be here. It is my trust. I would like to explain at the beginning. The middle screen you can see along with my own on the screen. If it was not for Ahmed, Sylvia and I would not be here today. If it was not for Ahmed, Monash University in Indonesia would not. If it was not for Ahmed, the relationship between Monash University and Indonesia would have grown over the last 2 years. Would not be happening. In his role as Vice President of Monash University, he oversees all global strategy and has particular focus on building Monash's connections to Indonesia. And I'm sure you would have picked up on it. You made some reference in your remarks to timing values within Monash and Indonesia. Something that particularly caught my attention. Prof. Fatah referred to Indonesia as being integrated, smart, and green. And that is just so aligned with what Monash University wants to do in Australia, wants to do in all its campuses around the world, and tries to promote in all its work. So Abid, I know you will keenly appreciate the alignment. Prof. Fatah
everybody. I think that speaks powerfully to the potential of this MoU to enable us to do lots of good things. There's one more thing I want to say. This MoU is luar biasa sedikit. Usually, MoU is between this university and that university. Usually, it would be, for example, Prof. Fatah signing with Udi or something like that. What's unusual is this is terrible. The people here, the big Monash University. And there is also a little Monash University in Indonesia. There's one Monash University is still living. It is here. It is here in Anthem. And so all the big strategies that Udi and the other university leaders in Melbourne developed for Monash globally, here in Indonesia, here in Banten, the Monash University in Indonesia campus to pick up on Udi's work, which can be an ambassador, can be, if you like, a platform, or perhaps a springboard to accelerate collaboration, because collaboration internationally is not easy. But because Big Untitled and Big Monash have little Monash University in Indonesia locally, Udi himself, I believe, we can move further, faster. So it's a bit hard to answer, but we believe that will also make it special. That we can do something anyway, that's enough from me. But I just want everybody in the room and on the screen to understand the global context of what Udi and colleagues and how Mcintyre gets to connect all of them. Yes, connecting with our new campus in London, Monash University in Indonesia, but not just that. It's connecting to Monash globally. So, thank you very much. I thank you and pay tribute to Abid and all the people in his team that have worked over a long period of time. And I look forward to seeing what we can do together. Thank you very much.
Terima kasih banyak, Professor MacIntyre, for a very incredible speech. Now, we are in the main agenda of our today's event. To Professor Fatah Sulaiman, to Professor Andrew MacIntyre, could you please proceed to the table over here. Yeah, you may proceed to the tables. Yeah, I'll be on the screen as well, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Abid is on the screen. Sorry, Professor Agli, sorry. Okay, you can exchange the document for the second signing. Yeah. Okay, when it is done, please showcase or show the signed document to the camera for documentation. Okay, thank you very much. But please remain still to Professor Andrew McIntyre and to Professor Fatah. We are going to have token presentations for each university. Yeah, Jawara. Now is the token presentations from Untitled first to Monash University, Indonesia. It's a rhino. Rhino. It's a rhino. One horn rhino. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now it's from Monash University to Untitled. Okay. Yeah. Very suitable for us. Thank you very much, Professor. Okay, now is the sessions. After this, we are going to have a photo sessions, firstly with the audience, with our online audience, for all the invited guests, the 5 rectors, 1, 2, 4, and the deans and the directors and vice directors of postgraduate school. Yeah, yeah. And also the heads of departments and secretaries, the head of UPT and the representative of diaspora. Please proceed to the stage. Yeah, and to all the participant and audience, online audience, please turn on the camera. Okay, now we are going to have another photo sessions, yeah, for all the invited guests and Prof. Fatah and Prof. Andrew McIntyre. Please turn around and face the screen. We are going to have photo sessions with the offline audience. Okay, thank you very much. Praise be to God. Now we are officially partners. We are going to have 5 minutes break before the guest lecture starts. And let us enjoy a song entitled Hijau Kampusku Untirta Jawara, written by Professor Fatah Sulaiman and music arranged and sang by Angga.
Sumber mata air kehidupan. panjang. Menara rektorat menjulang, gedung-gedung impian, gerbang penuh harapan, serta hijau taman kehidupan. Di kakimu kami datang, tancapkan tiang panjang. Menara rektorat mendulang, gedung-gedung impian, gerbang penuh harapan, serta
All
hijau.
the audience, please remain in the room because we still have guest lecture sessions after this.
Untirta Jawara, Untirta Jawara, Untirta Jawara.
Untuk kembali ke ruangan karena guest lecture akan segera dimulai. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, coming to the guest lecture session. This session will be chaired by the head of International Office of Untirta, Udi Samanhudi, PhD. Please.
Ingin memastikan semua sudah siap Bapak Ibu ya. Right. Dr. Dina Rahmawati, thank you very much Ibu Dina. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, selamat pagi Bapak Ibu. It is an honor for me, Udi Samanhudi, to chair this session, which I believe will be very invaluable about internationalization in higher education context. We are with a figure who is really well experienced in running the internationalization agenda in Monash University, in both Australia and in Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, speaking about internationalization in higher education context, I believe that everyone is aware on the importance of this. Untirta is one of the universities that is now trying to run in order to be not left behind in the context of internationalization. As part of the public university in Indonesia, Untirta is now trying to learn from many networks, from many partner universities. And this morning we're very lucky, we are very happy that this session with Professor Andrew MacIntyre, all the lessons learned from the practice of internationalization agenda in Monash University will be finished. Ladies and gentlemen, we are all aware that the idea of internationalization of higher education, especially in developing countries, is becoming increasingly important. In Indonesian context, in our country, ladies and gentlemen, the higher education system have obviously presented a propensity for internationalization. And this internationalization agenda is now even becoming very clear when the university is trying to link the three important activities of teaching and learning, research, and public service between the home university like Untirta with partner universities. So we have three broad questions that I think Andrew would help to answer. It's about the confusions about internationalization. What is it actually? People might know the word internationalization, but probably not really find it very clear. So I think Andrew would help to answer this kind of question. And the second questions will be related to the challenges of internationalization, which I believe in the context we are facing these challenges. And you probably could share with us what kind of challenges in Monash in realizing, what in developing the internationalization. And the third question is about the strategies. This is really important to our future efforts. So we may need to learn potential strategies that Monash so far have applied, so that now Monash has been one of the top ranking universities. One day, I believe that Untitled will be one of those in the list, top 100. We start from dreaming, but I believe not long from now, Untitled will be probably one after Monash University. Ladies and gentlemen, before inviting Prof. Andrew, I believe that everyone would like to know more about him. Professor Andrew MacIntyre is an internationally respected scholar and institution builder in higher education. He is a speaker, author, and editor of many books and articles, particularly on international affairs in Southeast Asia, including in Indonesia, and on higher education internationally. Professor McIntyre is a fellow of the Academy of Social Sciences in Australia and is currently the president of Monash University, Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I would like to invite everyone here to stand up. Please stand up, everyone. And please join me to welcome Professor Andrew MacIntyre. Yeah. Thank you, Prof. Andrew. The floor is yours.
So Dr. Udi, everyone, hello again, yeah. Maybe we don't have to be too formal. We've had the official stuff. We can be a little more relaxed. What would you see some things that are wrong? Is this okay? Yeah. He called this a lecture. Actually, I don't want to give a lecture. Partly because I remember when I was listening to lectures, I would just go to sleep. Because usually they were boring. But partly, more seriously, and what I'm saying now is very sincere. I don't think I am in a position to tell you how to do internationalization. I'm happy to share my experiences and opinions, but I say this very sincerely. I think Mcintyre is doing a great job. And I know that over the last couple of years, that I have been interacting with Mcintyre, and I see how active your agenda is. With you driving it, with your overall leadership, Prof. Fatah, I can see that Mcintyre is moving fast. So, Tidak pantas if I come here and say, here's how to do internationalization, because I think you're already doing it well. And it's a journey that we're all on. Let me just also give you a little bit of background on me so that you can interpret, so that you can filter what I have to say. I've worked in many universities, in the Australian universities, and universities internationally. And I have visited many universities. For me, this particular job that I'm doing now is just fantastic. For me, it brings together all the things that I have been doing in my career. So I think ini bisa tahun 76 waktu masih di SMA. Saya kembali lagi tahun 77. And then when I went to university, I kept studying about Indonesia. And when I did my doctoral research, it was about Indonesia. And then my academic career took me to many different things. And I became more and more involved in leadership roles. Yes, very kind. Wakil Rector dan lain sebagainya. So that has given me lots of different perspectives. And what I will say now is not just Monash. What I will say now is it's just my personal ideas, my personal perspective here. And I think where I would start is by saying every university, or almost every university in the world, is trying to internationalize. Governments everywhere are encouraging their university to do this. Of course, one reason universities do this is because governments encourage us. Governments direct us. Governments reward us if we do it. But that cannot be the main reason. That cannot be the only reason. Ultimately, we should be doing this because we want to. And why might we want to? It can't just be asal pemerintah senang, ya. In my opinion, if we simplify right down, there are three basic reasons. The first is because it enables our students to have a better learning experience. It's good for our students. It enriches their learning experience. The second is because it's good for those of us who are academics. It makes us stronger as it makes us stronger as individual academics. We deepen our research capabilities. We learn more about what's going on in our discipline and related disciplines. So it just makes us stronger scholars. And the third is, it makes our institutions stronger. It makes our universities stronger. So not just the individual students, not just the individual academics, but the institution of the university as a whole gets stronger the more we do it. You may have a different view. I'm just telling you that's how I think of it. That's why I believe it's important. That's why. But what about how? How do we do it? There is no simple answer. There's lots of things, yeah. If I was to give you some ideas on my opinions about how, I would put it under, again, 3 headings. And they related: education, research, and administration. Those are my 3 headings of how. And I just give just different examples. Let me start with education. None of this will surprise you. You will have heard all of this before because everybody is trying it, yeah? But still, let me just say, some examples of how we can internationalize the education experience that we offer our students. One that people talk about a lot is student mobility. Another is to attract students from other places to come and study with us. Another is joint teaching. I'll give you some examples of this in a minute. Another is guest lectures. Another, this is my last one for education, would be just to divert the materials that we use in our curriculum. So maybe if you're a docent, you teach your subject, I teach my subject in a certain way. Maybe I can make that curriculum a bit more interesting just on my own. Instead of using the normal materials that I use, I somehow try to find some different materials. If I imagine if I was a lecturer at Mcintyre, some materials that are from outside Indonesia, from other countries with other perspectives. It's an easy thing to do, but just individual academic, yeah? And if you go all the way up to that, through that list, they get bigger and bigger things to do, yeah? People talk a lot about student mobility. At Monash in Melbourne, they talk a lot about student mobility. It's a very nice thing. It's very expensive. It's very expensive. And it doesn't reach all the students. So a question you need to ask yourself is that what you want to do with your resources? Maybe yes, maybe no. If that seems too expensive, which for most universities in the world, it's impossibly expensive, and only a small percentage of students get to do it, yeah? That's where I think things like joint teaching, much less expensive, but can still give a benefit for the students. I'll give you an example. Before I was at Monash, I used to be at RMIT in Melbourne. Before I was at RMIT, I was at ANU in Canberra, where I was at Deakin. And something we did at ANU in some classes was we had a 3-way hookup. University in Korea Selatan, University in Singapore, and ANU in Canberra. And we all got on, it was before Zoom, yeah? But we all got on and did it together. It was very hard to do, but it was interesting. It would be easier now because of Zoom, yeah? Easier still, it's just inviting someone. Maybe someone from Monash, maybe someone from Singapore Institute of Technology, or someone from Malaysia or Philippines or China or wherever, yeah, to do just one lecture in your class. It's a small thing. It's not too hard to do. It's not too disruptive to your curriculum. And if it's done well, I think it's quite interesting for your students here. Anyway, those are just different ideas about teaching. Let me say something about research. Again, there is a spectrum, there is a range from big things, little things. They're all good, but you just have to choose where you want to put your effort in. Because if you try and do everything, you're missing. You choose which things are right for a lecture, which things are right for your faculty, for your school, for your individual class. But again, just some examples. I'll start with big things. Joint research projects. Because we're talking about that between Untitled and Monash in the food area. If it's possible to get groups of academics to agree, to genuinely collaborate, to genuinely pursue funding and conduct the research and do the publications, that's a fantastic thing. But it's not easy to do. It takes lots of preparation. Yeah? It's a really good thing if you can make it happen, but it's not easy. A smaller thing is this academic and that academic just do just a specific exercise together. That has the benefit of enriching both academics and building a connection that can grow into something else. But let me give you smaller ideas again, because often we just look at the big ones. And sometimes that's good, sometimes not so good. A smaller one is to organise a conference where in Kyoto or Monash, wherever, invites people from other countries to come and present their research. And people are happy to do that. It doesn't cost so much. And it can lead to all sorts of nice new connections. Another possibility is to send your academics, a small number, to attend international conferences. It doesn't cost as much money, but it also concentrates the benefit of a small number of academics. A very interesting question that I used to think about when I was a decan was, if I'm going to spend some money on sending academics to such and such a conference, which academics? We had a big discussion about that. Lots of different ideas. One idea was, let's send our most famous academics, so they can be good ambassadors for us. Another idea was, let's send our most junior academics, so they can learn and grow. There's no right answer there. There's different strategies, different choices in there. So I just encourage you to think about that. I know I have to stop soon, but Udi. Let me also say something about administration, because something I've learned over the however many years I've been in universities now is that universities think a lot about their academics, and rightly so. But they don't think as much about their senior administrators or professional staff. And yet, in a modern university, it's not just academics that are important. The modern university course must have good academics. But that's not enough. It also has to have good administrators, good professional staff, good managers. And these colleagues can be very effective, very dynamic agents for promoting internationalisation as well. So I would also say, keep some thinking about that. Last thing I want to say is, I hope you can see that I strongly believe internationalisation is a good thing. But we do need to be careful, because everyone is doing it. Udi is right. Mcintyre doesn't want to be left behind. Monash doesn't want to be left behind either. So we have to work hard on it. But everyone is doing it. So how do we, at the same time as pushing internationalisation, also make sure that we do not lose our own individual university identity? So we don't end up all looking the same. And there's no easy answer to this. But just from my conversations with Prof this morning, I see there's so many wonderful things you have going here at Mcintyre. I would encourage you to hang on to what is distinctive. Internationalisation tends to makes us converge, become less different, become more alike. That's good. But we also want our individual identity, So it's finding that balance. And I personally believe that the narrative, if I can use that term, the cerita we have about ourselves, about our individual university communities, is really important to shaping our vision of ourselves, how we imagine ourselves. And Sylvie and I work in a brand new university here. We're very young. So unlike Mcintyre, where your narratives are quite strong and deep, we're still developing ours. Of course, we draw on the big Monash narrative, but must also be specific to our campus, to our location. And this is work in progress for us. But I just share you some of the things that I'm thinking about. When we decided in Melbourne that, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to create, when we got the permission, the invitation and the approval of Government of Indonesia, I said, okay, it's on. One of the things we did, of course, was to make plans for a campus. And one of the things we did for that was to choose a location and to hire architects. Architects to design our facilities. And we wanted it to reflect Monash, and we wanted it to reflect Indonesia and our location. And it's quite interesting what the architects came up with. the core concept is right outside our window. Just about it. The river is right outside our window. And their idea, and I'm going to take their idea, I'm going to borrow it. Their idea in thinking about the design of the campus is that the river connects the mountains to the sea, connects people all the way along the river, and it connects the local to the global. And it's like that for Monash. And when I think about Monash University Indonesia, I think, how can we connect our students, our local students, and our staff? How can we connect them from our local community to all of Indonesia and all of the world? Yeah, that's just a concept there. And I can see Mcintyre already has fantastic development. Sebagai contoh, fantastic. Sylvie and I haven't got that far yet. But for me, the starting point is Chisabu. Now, what's my point here? My point is, yes, we want internationalization. Without that, we will be left behind. We will be left behind without it. We cannot go up in the rankings without it. That is why everyone is trying it. Of course, that's not the only thing that gets you up in the rankings, but it does matter. So that's my main point. But I'm also saying, and I will stop here, I'm also saying, don't lose what is specific. What is your individual identity? What is special about India that no one else has got? And part of what is special about your university, so is in my university, part of what is special is our narrative, is our story. It's how we think about ourselves, how we imagine ourselves, how we talk to ourselves, and of course, how we talk to everyone else. And let me stop there.
Right. Thank you. Terima kasih banyak, Prof. Andrew. Tepuk tangan ya, Bapak Ibu. Maybe standing there for question and answer sessions, or oh, it's okay. Prof. Thank you, Prof. Terima kasih banyak. Thank you, Prof. Andrew. I trust this is an example of Jawara, a super Jawara speech. Bapak Ibu, sampai di sesi diskusi. So we'll invite probably 3 questions per session. Boleh dalam bahasa Indonesia, boleh langsung dalam bahasa Inggris. Dipersilakan Bapak Ibu untuk mengajukan pertanyaan kepada Prof. Andrew.
Dan boleh topik apa saja. Ya?
Boleh apa saja topiknya.
Internationalization, ya boleh.
Ya.
Tapi kalau ada lain, boleh juga.
Ya, silakan. Mikrofon. Yes. Ya, mangga Pak.
Thank you, Pak Udi. Selamat datang, Pak Andrew. You said that we have to still and stay in your identity. What is your unique Untirta? The question is how to sell it to global. We sudah berusaha, we have to try and still remain in our identity. Also, maybe you have a strategy or suggest how to grow globally. Thank you.
You want to directly answer it?
Let me try. I understand the question. I don't have a strategy. I do have some ideas. Precisely because universities everywhere find very internationalized, we're becoming more. The differences between us are getting smaller and smaller. So if we pick just Monash in India, let me simplify it and just talk about Monash in Australia and India here. Yes, they're here in Anthem, England. Yes, Monash is there in Victoria, Australia. And yes, there are differences. But if you look at what's going on inside the universities, compared to 10 years ago, they're similar. Compared to 20 years ago, they're much more similar. And 10 years from now, they'll be even more similar still. It's not the same, but the difference is getting smaller there. And so far, I think whether it's universities or other kinds of organizations, something that everyone is looking for is what is distinctive about it. And that's not easy to say because universities can be alike, yeah. And so in my opinion, that's why I go to the concept, the story, the narrative. And I realize that sounds very vague, very wishy-washy, yeah. But personally, I think those things are important. I'm not saying it's everything, but it does affect our culture. It does affect our outlook. And then I'm sure Untitled has got a great team of marketing experts who can take your story, take your facilities, your location, your academic strengths, and turn that into nice marketing. All I'm saying is universities with good buildings, universities with good academics, that's everywhere. I don't think there are many other universities. Ini contoh aja, Pak. Contoh aja. I don't think there are many other universities that have I'm not saying that should be done. Just using that as an illustration. Something that speaks to your local context, your local culture. Those things excite me more than you realize. Thank
you, Andrew. Thank you, Pak Agus. The next question, please. Adik kami ya, sudah. Please, the microphone. From
Yeah, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Mr. Andrew. Untitled have uniqueness is in Jawara. What is the uniqueness of Monash University? Second, if true uniqueness is an advantage, I think it's good to collaborate. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Dekan. Yeah, I think the question is right.
Good question, interesting question, Pak Terima Monash's motto, Sylvia will correct me if I get this wrong. Monash's motto is Ancora Impala, which is, good question, even better question. It's Latin, which is a sort of traditional thing in Western universities to use Latin. It means still learning. Still learning. But I would say that's not what's distinctive about Monash. I think that's a nice motto. It has an intellectual modesty, humility about it. Always learning. Yeah, but that's true. That's true at Tirtayasa. That's true. That's true everywhere. Yeah. So I would say, and I wouldn't claim this is unique. I wouldn't claim there is no other university, but I would say it is something that is a clear part of the identity of Monash. One is like Tirtayasa and put into lines. It is a young university, and therefore it's hungry. It's hungry to improve itself. You talked about your dreams of doing open this morning. 20 years ago, Monash was not as highly ranked as today. It's come up very fast. So that's a major thing, isn't it? But when you are young, you are hungry and very ambitious. When you're a very established university, it's very good, but maybe not quite so hungry. Maybe a little more content with your lovely traditions. So I think Monash is unique. The other thing is, I would say, it's a very progressive university. It's not trying to keep society the way it is. It's trying to change society in ways that hopefully will be better. So compared to some other universities I've been in, Monash cares a lot about what we call impact. You heard others mention this. So yes, we want our academics to publish in the famous journals. Absolutely. Don't get promoted without that. But that's not enough for Monash. Monash also wants people's research to be social, to make a contribution to the betterment. Now, I'm not saying that's too unique, but I would say, compared to many universities I know, to be serious, you'd be Monash. That would be my answer.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you very much. Another question, please. Atau mungkin ada ini, Pak. Oh yes, yes, it's from the Duta. Yeah. Campus ambassadors.
Thank you for the opportunity. Good morning, Mr. Andrew. My name is Java. I'm very interested with the three aspects of the internationalization in the university, which is education, research, and also administration. But my question is, from your experience, which one is the important one for the university who want to start the internationalization from those three aspects that has a big impact for us to grow the internationalization? Thank you.
Thank you. Brilliant question. It's a hard question. It's a hard one. When we started talking, I thought I would say they're all important. So just choose. But the more that I listened to you, the more I thought that wasn't a very good answer. Even though it's true, I don't think that's a very helpful answer. So I think what I would say, this isn't a Monash answer, this is an Andrew answer. I think what I would say is I would start with what helps students the most. Because if you don't have students, you don't have anything. If you don't have good students, if you don't have lots of them, very soon you won't have good academics. So probably, if I could only have one, and I don't like to choose, but if I can only have one, I would start with what helps students. But there is a good argument for starting with research, a good argument for starting with administration. But if it was me, I would start with what helps the students. And let me go further and say, it might put in the way of his budget and his plans with Prof. Fatah. But if it was me, I would do things that I have to because you can really benefit. Making initiatives is easy. The real benefit. In English, we have a saying, don't put too many eggs in one basket. I'm not sure what it would be in Indonesia, but don't put all your bet on one thing. So I would probably try food. Not too big, not too expensive. Because their friend Udi gets permission from Fatah to have a really big initiative, it could be fantastic. But it could also not be. So I'm a bit cautious in it.
Tries it answers your question. Thank you very much. We still have 10 minutes. Bapak Ibu, maybe there's another question that you'd like us to ask. Feel free to raise your hand and then you can ask a question. Oh yeah, Pak Nugraha.
Thank you for the question. My name is Nugraha, and I would like to ask you to Mr. Andrew. This is about Monash question. Is it okay, sir? Okay. I want to ask about will in Monash University in Indonesia will be available of Master of Interpreting and Translation Studies in Indonesia.
There's no question.
So Pak Nugraha, I always try to cause trouble for Pak. He said yes, no question. My answer is maybe. No, we don't have any plan just now. But yes, there has been discussion about the possibility of that. So I don't want to mislead you. If we do it, it won't be very soon. But there has been some discussion of it. So that's why I think my best answer is maybe.
I'll continue that word, maybe. I'll use it for the next question. Maybe there is another question. Yes, please.
So you can also invite questions from the participants online.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. My name is Yusuf. I'm a student from Prof. Law. Thank you, Mr. Andrew and Mr. Udi. I just want to know. I just want to more about that content of the MOU. I think lately there is a lot of collaboration in Tirta with other campus from this country, but I think it's different. We have MOU or we have a collaboration with Monash University. I just want to know about what is direct impact-nya untuk kita, direct impact-nya untuk student di Tirta ini, kira-kira apa itu directly. Terus yang kedua, the second, I think if I'm not wrong, Monash University is the first international private campus in Indonesia. I just want to know what is Monash University offer, and what you bring to us students and education in Indonesia. Thank you.
This is another hard question to answer, right? Yeah, thank you anyway for the question. Andrew, please.
It's a really good question. Thank you. You know that my mission in life is to cause trouble. So I'm going to suggest Udi might like to start the response to the first part of the question about what is in the MOU for you. I will also speak to that, but it might be appropriate if Udi goes first. And then I will also speak to your second question. What is my MOU for you and the rest of Indonesia?
Right. That's very good questions. With this MOU, what is the impact to students? That's a very good question. Our very center of attention in every MOU between Tirta with other partner campuses is that for students and for all the staff in the city of Tirta. So there will be like potential collaboration programs like joint teaching in the future. So when we speak about So when we speak about joint teaching in the future, for example, in your faculty, in the faculty of law, of course, then the direct impact is not only for, like the lecturers to learn from lecturers in university, right? That's one example of that. In the future, we would also have like joint research program, and we are initiating joint research in the area of food security. And of course, there will be, for example, research assistants, and most potential people who are in this position, students. I think students can also join. I think there are a lot of benefits that we can have. That's the examples I can share.
So let me build on what Udi has said. Bad news, good news. Bad news, belum ditentukan. Good news, belum ditentukan. What has been is there is a strong intention. And this morning, before we came in here, we were bouncing ideas. After this meeting, we will have some lunch and we'll talk some more about it. So what I would say to you as a student, let's say, is there is a serious intention on both sides. In fact, I should say on all three sides, yeah. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but let me say it anyway. If you have ideas, if your colleagues have ideas, I'm going to guess that Udi would be interested. I know I would be interested. I don't want to give you a false impression that we have some big box of money to throw around. That's not what it is. There's Intityre, there's Monash Indonesia, and it's what we can do together, agree and do. But benefiting students, I would say, is absolutely consistent with the spirit of this MoU. The question is how to do that in a way that for India, Sylvie and I were talking in the car coming. Belum kasih tahu Pak Udi. Oh, Prof. Fatah. But let me just say, Pak Yusuf, Sylvie and I were talking about how might we maybe be able to connect students up in some way. So that's just building on what Pak Udi said. On your second question, what was this is not a Indonesian mean for you, and for everyone else in Indonesia? Well, my first response to you is to tell you what our mission is. Our mission is to make a clear and strong contribution to the further success of Indonesia. Itu saja. That is our mission. That is how we will be judged. By you, by everyone else, by the government of Indonesia, and by the Council of Monash University and the government of Australia. That is our mission. How are we going to do that? Well, we will try to do that in the range of ways that Untitled tries to do it. That any university tries to do it, but we will try to bring our specific qualities. So we will do it by our education programs, we'll do it by our research work, and we will do it by our partnerships. Let me just say a little bit about each one and then cut with the chop, I'm sure. Our education programs. We're only doing postgraduate. We're not doing undergraduate. Why? Because we didn't want to compete with Indonesian universities in their most important business. Also, we think that we can, it plays to our strength, it plays to our ability to contribute if we focus on postgraduate. So master's, PhD, short course. What areas? Well, we asked ourselves three questions. What is Monash good at? What does government of Indonesia want? What do we think the market, yeah, you can mahasiswa. What do we think the market will support? Those were the three questions we asked. And what we have started with this year is 4 programs. Data science, urban design, business innovation, and public policy and management. Those are the 4 we're starting with this year. We're in discussion with Vicki right now about ones to introduce next year. We're focusing on public health and cybersecurity. Then other ones that we're thinking about, sebelum interpreting and translation, other ones we're thinking about, sebagai control, environment and sustainability, creative industries, and transport infrastructure. So that gives you a flavour. We think that with our programs, we can complement what Indonesian universities are already doing. We don't want to do the same things. We think we can do that in our education programs and contribute to the development of the daya manusia Indonesia. With our research, we have been doing hiring academics from Indonesia, Australia, all around the world. We're really pleased with the academics that we have over time, and we are confident that their research will not only go in the journals, etc., but will be helpful in Indonesia to government, to companies, to community organizations. And we see that already starting. And then finally, and this may be the most important thing, is partnerships. We can do some stuff on our own, but if we are in partnership with other Indonesian universities, if we're in partnership with Indonesian companies, with government agencies, with community organizations, then we think we can have what I call, or what economists call, a multiplier effect, or if you like, leverage. And that is why Sylvia and I are here today in Britain. Because we look at Anthem, we see a really interesting university. So we like your energy, we like your aspirations. We're neighbours. We're new neighbours. You are, as I was saying before, we're large. We're small. Help each other. Maybe we can do things together. Maybe we can do things together, specifically in Bandung. And coming on your question, maybe we can do things together specifically in Bandung, specifically in students.
So it's a very comprehensive answer. So there will be, I believe, YouTube questions. So all the illustration, the examples, the explanations, comprehensive. Andrew, 15 minutes to 12. I think this is the end of our,
So firstly, invite questions from
the online participants. Yeah. Oh, all right. Participant from on the screens, if you'd like to ask question, please raise your hand and then ask question, please. Yeah.
Nadia Fitri.
Nadia Fitri. Yeah,
okay. Thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity. First, I would make sure that my voice sound clearly. Yeah, thank you. Actually, my name is Nadia Fitri. I'm a chemical engineering student right now, and I'm interested in education and research. As Professor Andrew said, that one of the programs that internationalization student can do is in research and education. and what kind of program that allows the student to can collaborate in research program between two university. Thank you very much.
Much, Nadia. Thank you for the question. And Andrew?
Good question, Nadia. I don't have a good answer. And it's partly because of the answer that I gave to Pak Yusuf here, that a number of things have not yet been into play. However, and partly I'm repeating myself here, Nadia, there is a commitment to make collaboration in areas of research, areas of education, and other areas. Those things can all involve students. So sorry, Nadia, I was looking at the screen. Those things can all involve students. In my opinion, they work best if they involve students. I cannot speak for yet for what we will decide to do there. You mentioned that you're coming out of is it chemical engineering or industrial chemistry? I forget now. But what I can say is, although we don't have strengths in that area, Monash University Indonesia, Monash University in Melbourne, and Monash University in Kuala Lumpur, very good strengths in this area. And if that's something that Indonesia would like to prioritize, Sylvie and I can say that as the local representatives of Monash, we'd be very happy to try and make that happen. But I just don't want to promise something before we had a chance to talk about it, before Prof. Fatah has had a chance to say what his priorities are, and before Sylvie and I have been able to check exactly who wants to engage. But what I can say, and I'll stop here, the spirit of your request or your question, just like the spirit of Yusuf's question, I think is exactly on the same wavelength of what we're trying to do. So I would be very surprised if there is not something in this area. I can't say if it's law or if it's industrial chemistry, all of that still needs to be discussed here. But something like that, I think there's a good chance of
Right. Does that answer your question, yeah? Andrew, thank you very much. The question from Nadia, unfortunately, is the sign that this guest lecture session ends. Again, Bapak Ibu, terima kasih banyak. Hatur nuhun, thank you very much for your kind attention, and thank you very much also for the questions that help Andrew to elaborate and explain a lot about the issue of nationalization in general, and then the potential activities that Indonesia and Monash University would develop. Again, thank you, Prof. Andrew. Ladies and gentlemen, tepuk tangan yang meriah sekali lagi untuk Andrew. Yeah, Bu Dina.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof.
Thank
Andrew
you.
McIntyre, for a very insightful guest lecture. And thank you also to Pak Udi Samanhudi for chairing the sessions. Finally, we come to the end of this event. Let us say, Hamdalah. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Praise be to God. Hopefully this agenda brings so much blessing to us all. The partnership between Untitled Monash University brings mutual benefits and to the three parties and be a long-lasting partnership. Quoting from Andrew, let's create a very good narrative between the three parties. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
menyuarakan kedamaian, menyambut hangat para jawara beradaban. Di kakimu kami datang, tancapkan tiang panjang